Leftover Lies, 4th edition. So guys, I was thinking about making this week's episode another rabbit hole roundup, but I didn't come across any stories or current events that I found particularly interesting, and ones that I wanted to cover and put my own spin on.
No. That's Bush League.
So rather than force it, I realized this is why I have my other concepts on this channel, which are hard truths and leftover lies. So anyways, in today's episode, I have a bunch of amazing, super interesting, mind-blowing videos, leftover videos and TikToks. Some of what we're going to be diving into are Vanilla Ice talks about the secret to staying young. Then we also have Michael Jordan's stats possibly being inflated, which could end up changing the whole GOAT debate in the NBA. Eminem writing a song about the Antichrist. They're getting rid of the MTV archives. I also have a video talking about science and magic being one and the same, essentially, being the same thing, which is why we have to be so careful when it comes to blindly trusting any science. And we're going to see if I find anything else along the way, if I come across any other interesting save videos I have. So without further ado, let's dive into this Leftover Lies edition right now. Boom, boom, boom.
This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
What's happening, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Jared Weiss. If you guys didn't know that, it must mean that you're not subscribed to the channel, so you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button, make sure to leave a like, drop a comment, let me know your thoughts on this video. Follow me on every platform. Also, if you guys haven't done so already, make sure to check out my book, Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. If you guys support me with that, it would mean a lot to me. All the links to purchase it are on my website, which is jaredbryanweiss.com. That's JaredBryanWeiss.com. Any support that you guys give me is much appreciated, and doing that will help me help you guys further. So let's dive into the episode now. The first clip that we're going to be watching is famous 90s rapper Vanilla Ice, singer of Ice Ice Baby, or as some people used to say, White Spice Baby, because my last name is Weiss. Ha ha ha. I find it funny.
Huh? You know what I mean?
So anyways, his mom actually gave a very powerful secret to staying young. So this is a super positive concept that I'm going to be reacting to in a sec. Let's watch.
You're 56.
Yeah.
Dude, it's insane how good you look. Man.
Listen, my mom told me as long as you keep dancing your way through life, you'll be happy. And I said, why, Mom? She said, because you can't dance if you're miserable. And I said, whoa, it makes a lot of sense. She goes, think about it. You surround yourself with people, they're dancing, they're going to be happy too.
Yeah.
She said, it's in the instructions from the beginning, sweetie. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. They wouldn't put the word pursue in there if you didn't need to pursue your happiness. So get your ass up off this couch, get out there and make something and get up and go. Dance your way through all your problems in life. You never leave music. It's poetry, bro. For me, I started off in the 7th grade writing love poems to the girls. And I'd never told my friends because I wouldn't want to give away my secrets, how I got the chicks, right? So, and it never left me, man. Just poetry. Poetry is everything with me in my life, my music. Man, it's just part of it.
So, why is this such a powerful secret to staying young? Because think about it. Motion, movement is key in life. If you're not moving, everything is staying stagnant.
The muscle has to grow or die.
Including your emotions. Motions have to be moving. So, it's as Vanilla Ice just said, it's pretty hard to be dancing and to be miserable at the same time. And this is also why one of the most powerful things that you could do if you're upset or if you're going through a rough time is take a walk, go to the gym, move some weights, move your body, find other people who are happily moving as well, and then you're going to create a happy chain reaction. And that's also why it's so powerful to surround yourself with good, positive people, rather than people who are going to bring you down, because energy is contagious, emotions are contagious. So if you're surrounding yourself with people who aren't dancing, metaphorically speaking,
I ain't dance. It's more like a full-body dry heave. Set the music.
And people who are always droning on and on about how hard life is and how much they hate their job or they hate whatever it is they're currently going through, as opposed to people who are talking positive, who are always trying to see the bright side of things, as I'm always trying to do, that's going to change your whole outlook on life. So dance your way through life and you're always going to stay young, as far as I see it. Very powerful clip from Vanilla Ice. Next up, we have Michael Jordan's stats being inflated. Didn't you guys ever know this? Because this is definitely news to me.
Everything we know about Michael Jordan now has to be questioned. Apparently, people are going back and watching his game film and finding that his stats have been inflated.
The game film in those 6 games, Michael Jordan had 12 steals. The home box score, how many extra steals could they have given him? 2, 3? He had 12. The box score, 28! There was a game where they credited Michael Jordan with more steals than the other team had turnovers.
And what's even worse is you got Scottie Pippen, who he won 6 rings with, confirming it. In his book Unguarded, he said when he would deflect the ball and tap it to MJ, MJ would get credited with the steal. Also, when a stat keeper from the 1990s was asked about this subject, he claims it was league-wide practice to inflate home team stats. And what do you know, from the 1988 season, MJ has the biggest disparity between his home games and his road games in terms of steals and blocks. People were already starting to call MJ a bald Jaylen Brown that couldn't use his left. But now it's just looking like MJ and his whole entire story is a complete fraud.
Now look, guys, I don't want to throw too much shade at Michael Jordan, especially because he's one of the reasons why I got into basketball in the first place and why I love playing and watching the game so much for all these years. I mean, Space Jam, come on, one of the best movies of all time.
Look who's finally ready to play.
Let's see if I remember how to do this.
But how impactful could this be, like, to the whole GOAT debate? I mean, look, I've gone back and forth between LeBron and MJ, and then, like, you could also throw Kobe in there, you could throw Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, maybe even Steph Curry and KD possibly. Kareem also, of course. But for everyone who's always looking deep into the stats, if Michael Jordan's stats have been manipulated, what would this say? Would this actually put LeBron's stats way further than MJ's? And to be honest, in recent years, I've actually been leaning more towards LeBron as being the best player of all time. I mean, look, don't get me wrong. MJ's peak may have been higher, but like, LeBron's been doing this for the past 20 years already.
That is blasphemous!
And he's still putting up ridiculous numbers, and he's still basically leading his team every year. And I don't want to get too deep into that because I feel like those debates usually end up going nowhere. I don't want to get too much into like the whole idol worship type thing, and like I don't want to be defending anyone over the top as some people do.
Johnny, you're my hero!
But like, having said that, being a player and someone who trains super hard, I could see how the game has definitely evolved within the past 15 to 20 years. I mean, if you're comparing the sheer amounts of skill and athleticism currently in today's NBA, and even currently at today's parks and AAU games and whatnot, guys were not doing these types of things 20 to 30 years ago. So I think it's definitely hard to compare eras, because I think it makes sense that like this era is going to be better compared to the one before it. But there were also different styles of play, etc., etc. What do you guys think? Who do you guys consider to be your GOAT in the NBA conversation? Are you more about longevity and staying at this high level for longer? Or are you more about undefeated in championships and being more clutch and having a higher peak? And then you guys realize, like, MJ's stats may have been inflated in some cases. I mean, 20 steals in the game? He'd have to be like Swiper from Dora, basically. Next up, we have from Eminem's newest album, which is The Death of Slim Shady. Fittingly, we have a song called The Antichrist, which seems to be like very dark, as Eminem has gotten in the past few years, but let's watch this clip together.
His name is Marshall. He's the Antichrist. He was nice and nice.
Before you all run to the comments, yes, I know. So this whole album is him killing off Slim Shady. This is his persona, his alter ego, and the first half of the album is basically Slim Shady. There's a lot of hate, there's a lot of slurs, and that resembles Slim Shady. It also talks a lot about how people take what he says way too seriously. They're always trying to cancel him, especially Gen Z. And then we go to Guilty Conscious 2. This is where Slim Shady dies. After that, the album gets a lot more serious. He talks about how Slim Shady just took up a lot of his life and made him do a lot of things he regrets. And especially in the song Temporary, it gets really serious. He talks about his daughter and how he regrets missing a lot of time with her. Even though Antichrist and Lucifer, those are still absolutely wild names to have in the song. And that chorus was extremely creepy, but let me know what you guys think.
So, it's something very creepy.
We got a whole new bag of issues.
For one of these big time entertainers and someone like who's a big part of the music industry to have a song called Antichrist and also like a song about Lucifer. But having said that, and also keep in mind, I have heard all the conspiracies talking about Eminem possibly having died off years ago and then having been replaced or cloned possibly. And I'm not counting anything out. I'm someone who questions everything, as you guys know by now. But could this idea of like the Antichrist mean killing off his persona? Or could it be something where he's actually doing the work of the devil, especially because as he spoke about in one of his past songs, he sold his soul. But something else like I actually find very interesting, which I do think it is important to acknowledge, is like even when it comes to the worst people, or when it comes to these Hollywood celebrities and people who sold their soul, we can still find redeemable things about their lives. I mean, think about this. So like the end of the album, Eminem is talking about his daughters, he's talking about how he wishes he was there for them more, he's talking about all the moments he missed with them, and those songs, like, I think are actually very touching and are very beautiful. So I don't think like any person is all good or all bad. I mean, of course, it is essential for us to not fully trust anyone who's in the entertainment industry or Hollywood, but we can still find redeemable things about them, and we can actually use those things to transform our own lives. It's like, as I'm always saying, I could still listen to Eminem to get hyped up for a workout or when I'm mad or something like that, and I could use that like to get out that negative energy. But like, I also don't want to be worshipping him or worshipping his songs either. So it's definitely important to have that balance. But like, what do you guys think? Is this like a super dark song? Is this revealing Eminem going down a dark path? Or on the other hand, could this idea of killing off Slim Shady actually be representative of him making a change in his life for the better? And going along these lines of Eminem, who used to be all over MTV.
They try to shut me down on MTV.
We have a story talking about the MTV archives have essentially been wiped out and erased. What's going on here?
A whole generation of cultural history is gone in an instant, thanks to Paramount. They just acquired MTV, and with no explanation, they deleted every single archive. This is 30 years of history, of my generation, of your generation. It's like they're trying to wipe out the raw emotion of Kurt Cobain. I remember the first time I ever heard Nirvana, there was something that was deep in my soul that was like unleashed. Like I had permission to feel all of these feelings that society told me I wasn't allowed to feel. And I'm sure some of you feel so passionately about other types of music, like hip hop or heavy metal. Tell me, what was the music that allowed you to feel your feelings and express yourself? But now Paramount has deleted it all, and I don't know why, but if you know why, please let me know in the comments.
Does this like essentially line up with other history being deleted as a way of not allowing us to share commonalities with future generations? Could this also be taking away creativity and rebellious thoughts for future generations as well? Could this be another way of wiping out culture and allowing for a new culture to come in unabated? Especially when it comes to the whole digital age, we definitely have to watch out for any efforts that are being taken to wipe out stories from the internet.
Right here, I got everything you care about.
To Mandela effect things such as like the Britney Spears skirt, and to make us think like we're crazy for believing it was one color when it was really the other. Because if they could just like memory hole everything, then we have no shared history to go off of. I'm someone who grew up loving MTV. I thought it was a great thing. It allowed me to explore new music and to get some of my feelings out, as she was mentioning in this video. But the more awake that like most of us are getting, the harder and harder the people in power, quote unquote, are going to try to push to rid us of this positive history, because when you don't know your history, you're bound to repeat it.
That makes sense to me.
Or in the same breath, when you don't know your actual history, you're going to be more subjective to indoctrination and to accepting that as fact, which is the same thing that happens like when it comes to any of these old buildings that got torn down as part of the whole World's Fair, the whole reset post-Tartaria. So don't let the memory hold the stuff too much. Talk about it, write it down, share it with others, because this way you're going to keep the positive cultural values alive, or even make people aware of some of the negative ones, so that this way they're not going to be bound to repeat them. The next clip we have is talking about science and magic being one and the same, being the same thing, yet what are we always told to do? Trust the science. But what happens in a lot of cases when it comes to the science? The people who are spewing the science are actually just like talking about dark magic, and are using these words to cast spells and to get us to accept things that really aren't beneficial for us. Let's watch together.
There's a quote I remember, I think it's in like that first Thor movie, and they're looking at the constellations, and he said something about magic and science, and science is just...
He said, your ancestors called it magic, you call it science, where I come from, they're one and the same.
Yes.
So the thunder god is telling her that they're both the same. It's like, the difference between science and magic, for the most part, is if I can explain it to you, it's science. If I don't, it's magic.
Yeah, basically.
You think about like, so the science is all about numbers. The witchcraft's all about numerology. The witchcraft is all about signs and sigils, and then the science is about geometry. You guys like making the connections here? A great example of this is like everyone like asking about CERN. Who the heck are they doing at CERN? Why is there statues to Shiva there? You know, if this is a scientific place.
Right.
Why do they have Dark Matter Day there on October 31st, Halloween? Yeah. Samhain. Why is the site where there's a temple to Apollyon?
Right.
Maybe things have not changed. Yeah. Maybe these things are still a little bit magical. And you understand, like, again, like, so you get to the NASA stuff, it's like, well, why don't I trust NASA? It's like, because they're a bunch of occultists. Like, why do they name their rockets after Apollo and Saturn and Artemis and Gemini and every, just think of a pagan god's name. It's like, you wouldn't think they would name them after Moses, would they? Here's the Apostle Paul rocket.
Yeah.
They haven't done that yet, have they?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Yeah.
So, of course, as many of us in the whole truther world know, names matter, words matter, because spelling, spells, casting spells, cursive, curses. So, the people who are changing meanings of words,
To clone something.
and who are using words to create culture, understand this and understand magic very well, whether it's symbolism or words, song lyrics, etc., etc. So, when it comes to NASA, and you have like the serpent's tongue, you have all these missions being named after pagan gods, and once you realize who was actually founding NASA, once you realize it was people who came over as part of Operation Paperclip, which brought Nazis over, so you have Werner von Braun, who was Hitler's right-hand man, you have L. Ron Hubbard, dark occultist, you have Jack Parsons, another occultist, who was actually part of founding Scientology, and you also have Walt Disney tied in there also. So, what did he say in that video? When it can be explained, it's science. When things can't be explained, it's magic. Now, having said that, I don't think like all magic is bad. I think manifestation, when it comes to speaking positive words into the universe and speaking our dreams into the universe and creating positive energy around them, I think that's actually magic that's being used for positive purposes. So, like, just as with everything, there's always going to be this duality concept. So, like, not everything is black or white.
I love the black and white. Two races of flavor living side by side in harmony.
As I'm always saying, so be careful when it comes to trusting any science. Be careful when it comes to blindly accepting anyone's words. You have the power to manifest things on your own. Use this power wisely. Beware of any of this dark magic that's being used. And remember, like, you also have the power to transmute things and to change the meanings yourselves, just as these people do. So, like, don't put them on a pedestal.
You put her on a pedestal. I put them on a dental chair.
Remember your own power, but, like, be careful when it comes to casting in these spells, whether it's with repeated words, whether it's trusting the science. And finally, in this video, the final clip I wanted to leave you guys with is a very powerful Joe Rogan clip, which is talking about health and building positive habits every day.
One good day where you eat clean, you drink a lot of water, and you, like you did, you got that day, you woke up, you put your shoes on, you went for a run, you worked out your driveway, you got a good day in.
Yep.
That's sometimes all you need to do and decide, this is what I do from now on. I have good days.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be another good day, and then I'm going to force myself into another good day. And the next thing you know, I've got some momentum.
Right.
You got some momentum, you could change everything.
Yep.
I've felt, many times in my life, I've felt like I could slip the wrong way, and I see it. I see the dark hole, and I go, fuck that, and just go the other way. The problem is when people fall into that dark hole, they think that defines them, but it doesn't.
Right.
It doesn't define you. It's just you right now. You could be totally different tomorrow. You're a human being. You can think, you can adjust, and there's so much inspiration. It's one of the beautiful things about your Instagram page and many, many other Instagram pages is that you can take, if you curate your feed correctly and you don't follow a bunch of knuckleheads, you can go to your Instagram or to whatever social media platform you like, and you can go and check out a lot of cool shit.
Oh man,
and you feel
Yep.
good about it. You get fired up, and you want to do good with your life.
So why do I love this clip so much? It's because it reminds us, like, the power of momentum and the power of building positive habits, compounding positive habits, is so key to all of our lives. So, like, one really great decision, it could just be something as simple as going outside first thing in the morning. It could be going for a walk. It could be talking to a friend. If you start with just one thing, because remember, Rome wasn't built in a day, your health isn't going to be built in a day, and the positive, happy outlook on life isn't going to just, like, change overnight if you're going through one of these rough times. But on the other hand, on the flip side of things, if you break everything down to simple positive habits, you could literally change the whole course of your life just by starting with focusing on having one good day, one good action, then make that 2 good actions, 2 good days. Then maybe you have 1 not so good day. But, like, it's important to not let that one bad day define you, and to slip and fall so far down a downward spiral, and to convince yourself, like, you can't get back up, because you can. You're human. At any moment, you could change your thoughts, you could change your beliefs, you could change your actions. So remember to control what you can, build positive habits, build positive momentum, and then before you know it, your life is going to change for the better as a whole. Anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of The Leftover Lies. If you haven't done so already, make sure to subscribe to the channel, be sure to drop a like, leave a comment, let me know your thoughts. Make sure to buy the book Fight Through It by Jared Weiss. And I love you guys. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next episode. Stay positive, stay hustling, stay grinding, stay thinking for yourselves, question everything. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.